Hi guys, just wanted to spend this week's assembly by going through a few reflections that I've had over very recent times. The first one comes from something that I heard on the radio. I was listening to an interview with an ICU doctor. He'd just come off his ninth day straight working a 12-hour shift, and during that time working on the COVID ward, he had lost one of his patients. And it had obviously affected him quite deeply. And as he was driving home, he noticed that there were a number of people out on the streets not maintaining social distancing, very obviously not in family groups, and it affected him quite badly. He said he had to pull his car over and cry tears of frustration because people were not being sensible, they weren't following the guidelines, and pretty soon he was going to be meeting them in his professional capacity, and it really frustrated him immensely. And because people have been making certain parallels between what's going on now and the war generation and what they went through, there was an excellent piece of timing because last Friday, as I film this for you, there was the VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, whenever the British and their allies had finally managed to defeat Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany. And to try and draw a parallel between those two with all the stories that came out on TV last Friday and all the way through to the Antiques Roadshow and so on, the various stories, they bear no comparison to what people have gone through in the past. To try and think that what we're doing by being asked to stay at home and have our freedoms restricted is any way close, well, it's just a nonsense. There's nobody dropping bombs on you. You're not having to spend nights in an air raid shelter. Your food is not restricted. There's no rationing. The shops are incredibly well stocked. And in the end, you're not having to say goodbye to your mother or father as they head out to do a job, not knowing whether you will ever see them again, as people did in the Second World War. I showed my support for this, as I always do. I managed to oops, hopefully you can see that, buy a VE pin, a poppy pin. That one in particular is in support of the RAF. I've got quite a collection of these things now. And so basically, think about what people put up with in the Second World War. They came through it. We're able to celebrate 75 years later. If we can only manage to last this out, to follow all of the procedures, the social distancing, and even though things are changing and there are going to be some more freedoms returned, to remain sensible about what we do. And so, message this time is please stay safe, but in particular, stay sensible. Thanks.